Hello my delectable little nutter-butters and welcome back. Before I get into the video, I want to thank you all for almost 100 subscribers, and if you want to know where I've been for a while, I'll tell you at the end of the video as a bit of an excuse, but a good one, for why I've been gone for so long after I said I would try regular uploads. But with that out of the way, let's just get on to the video. Please subscribe. Ever wondered if the drops and runes from respawnable enemies in Elden Ring are really necessary to beat the game? No? Oh. Well, thanks for clicking on the video anyway. I was sat in my absolutely sick gaming setup, genociding the local population of albinuric blobs in Mogwyn's palace, when after wasting about 2 billion hours, I thought to myself, is this even necessary? Like, why am I wasting my time killing them again and again and again? And so out of either spite or resentment, I decided to play the game, but I'm only allowed to use items dropped by bosses. That is weapons, armor, and of course, runes. With my 3 exceptions to the challenge being smithing stones, since I know you can technically get them without buying them, but like, that's just time consuming. Like a quick Google search and then 20 minutes of running to the middle of nowhere to kill like a beetle or something. Bell bearings that are dropped from bosses, since I count that as a boss drop. And finally, items that help in no other way except beating the game or getting a specific ending. But Goji, I hear you ask, what is classified as a boss? Well, I was getting to that, you impatient shit. Well, in my opinion, a boss is literally any enemy that has a health bar. So, with that out the way, let's just get on to the video, shall we? I'm starting with the Wretch class because it's the class that has no starter equipment, making sure to name him the #1 op. Since this ginger smurf is here to throw hands with bosses, and only bosses. Waking up in this world, I proceeded to get my cheeks clapped by the grafted scion. I open the doors and head over to Murkwater Cave. But why do I need to go to Murkwater Cave, you ask? Well, because one of the easiest bosses in the game is there. And after getting the bloody finger outside to despawn by running away and running back, as soon as he starts to disappear, I finally got to Patches, which I proceed to fight for 3 whole hours. 3 hours! Just fist fighting this guy, doing like 4 damage on a heavy hit. And when I finally get him to his second phase, which is him just cowering and is activated when you continue to attack him once he begs for you to stop, he then just healed. It took me 3 hours. 3 hours of fist fighting a guy who can heal. Oh well, you may think, just keep hitting him. Now he's healed, Goji? Well, turns out his healing flask regenerates over time. So I gave up and rethought my strategy on how to get my hands on a weapon without breaking the rules of the game, which is when I remembered after simping for Blue Woman. If you speak to the first merchant you come across about the howling in the woods, you now have the ability to call Blade down from the roof. Why he's on the roof of a ruined castle and not like a mountain or a big rock that you can see in the background, you know, some real wolf shit, I don't know. But what I do know is that now I have spoken to and acquired an ally, I summon him like a stand in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and made him fight a Bloodhound Knight, and finally, 4 hours into the game, acquired my first weapon. Jesus Christ, this is gonna take ages. But now that I can deal actual damage, it's time for some vengeance. Now that I can deal some damage, what do you think I'm gonna do? That's right, trick the Knight's Cavalry boss into committing forever sleep by running into a bridge, which gave me a whopping 42,000 runes. At this stage of the game, I would usually kill Grail, but sadly, he doesn't have a goddamn health bar, so I can't attack him, depriving me from one of my 2 favorite things to do in this world, beating up either the elderly or children. But since I can't do that, I'm gonna kill some bosses, starting with the Guardian Golem, which gives me the blue dance charm, which increases damage the lighter your equipped load is. Then I just started grinding runes and collecting enough smithing stones to get my Bloodhound Fang to level 2, which once I collected them, I killed several more bosses. I made my way up to Stormvale Castle to fight Margit. At this point, I noticed I accidentally overleveled myself. Oops, how did that happen? So Margit got Thanos snapped from existence. Same goes for Godfrey, but only after taking an embarrassingly large amount of damage. Like, I had to use almost all of my flasks. I then acquired the Cerulean Amber Medallion that increases your FP by 7%, which will come in very handy later, but I'm gonna equip it anyway since I sort of don't have anything else to equip. Turns out, not being able to pick up what you want kind of limits your options. And yes, I could have got the Assassin's Crimson Dagger Talisman, but I didn't know about that. Then, I went on to get some more vengeance by killing the Grafted Scion, which gave me enough runes to level up my Bloodhound's Fang. Then, I blew the rest of my points on leveling up so I can actually progress, and allowing me to sprint through Korea Manor, leading me to fight the single most yatted up, thick, with 8 C's, most dumpy of dump trucks horse in all of history. Nay, in all of gaming. Nay, in all of creation. Get it? Nay, like a horse. After killing what I imagine a furry's wildest dream is, the runes that it dropped, storing in its gigantic ass, leveled me up enough to stand a chance against the Red Wolf of Radagon. So I ran through Lirnia of the Lakes. Emphasis on ran, because I was just being pelted with spells from enemies I cannot kill. So I basically just held the B button till I was through the Cursed Castle and in the boss room of the Ginger Hellhound. He only put up a fight for like a few minutes before I finished him off with the finesse of the Bloodhound's Fang, resulting in me getting to level 38. And I felt that the grind for runes was going good so far, but would I be able to keep that up for the rest of the run? I don't really know. But what I do know is the new level allowed me to take on Ranni with at least some lick of confidence, since she's only about as powerful as if Gandalf had a crippling fentanyl addiction. She basically just floats in the air until you beat up some children. Yet again, one of my favorite things to do. But once you curb stomp 3 soon-to-be orphans, you can attack her. So I do. And after killing her, she shakes off the fentanyl and starts taking you seriously by spamming Ki Blast like she's a low-health noob in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And after a long fight of just dodging attacks and playing Running Simulator, she was finally defeated. At this point in the video, I feel like we're finally getting somewhere in this boss-only run, but almost like it's a tradition, I yet again forgot to get the 2 sides of the Dectus Medallion. So I spend 24 minutes getting the left and right Dectus Medallion, because for like the 3rd video in a row, I forgot to get them and even forgot to get like graces that were near them, even though I went past both of them at the beginning. But once I lifted the Altus Plateau, I started by killing a bunch of bosses again. I don't want this video to be longer than I know it's already going to be, so I'm just going to put all of them on screen at the same time. There you go. At this point in the video, I thought I was finally starting to get somewhere. You know, finding the game at least moderately easy. Or at least as easy as a Souls-like game can be. So what did I decide to do? Change my entire build! Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Very Sigma. And what do I change my class to, I hear you ask? The Weeb. So I get the anime sword, which I test out by thoroughly beating up the homeless. I also mutilated a furry that threw a fucking stick at me. After getting some final levels from the 2 tree sentinels outside the capital, I decide to fight the draconic tree sentinel. Definitely for the first time. And just as a side note, I'm going to pause the video for a sec. I want you to take a guess at how many times this toenail of a boss threw a goddamn fireball at me. You got a number? Okay, good, let's continue. "11 times. 11. That is just the definition of spamming. His fight was only 90 seconds long. He threw a fireball every 8.8 seconds. That is completely ridiculous. But after I took a chill pill, I made my way into Asmongold's room. Sorry, I meant the sewers under Lendale, but I'm pretty sure the sewers are probably less of a zombie apocalypse spawn point than Asmongold's room. Like, if you told me that a zombie apocalypse started and you said that Asmongold was patient 0, I would be like, yeah, I could have guessed that if you gave me like 4 guesses. It would have been in my top 4 guesses, probably. And in the sewer, I fought a blind man and his dogs, which gave me a god level talisman, like S tier. One of my favorites. It is the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, which gives you a 10% damage buff whenever there is blood loss in the area, which is basically a must talisman if you have a weapon with bleed on it, which goes very well with my Moonveil Katana, since it does both magic and bleed. And after hitting an absolutely sick skip, I found myself reunited with an old friend, Mogi Poo. But sadly, this version of Moog isn't the one that I killed like 100 times in a row to help players who wanted to get to the DLC. You should go watch that video, by the way. No, this version is much weaker, and he doesn't even have like a second phase, so I obliterated him. And the runes he dropped gave me my sanity back, because this stopped me from grinding like another 1 billion bosses. I'm still under leveled though, by like 25 to 45 levels if you ask ChatGPT. But that's not gonna stop me from killing the giant gold roid rager, also known as Godfrey. After tanking an embarrassing amount of easily dodgeable attacks, I finally managed to defeat him, giving me my final talisman pouch. But before fighting Margit, I decided to grind some more levels. So I killed Wormface, which kept trying to give me a hug, 2 more tree avatars, Commander O'Neill and his tier 3 subs. I also killed Radan after he turned into an intercontinental ballistic missile, putting me at just enough runes to get to this level. But since this is yet again taking too long, I'ma speed things up, put in another montage. And after that montage, I also spoke to the 4-armed goth mommy. Well, I say I spoke, but she was the one speaking Japanese, like she would not shut the hell up. I was like spam skipping through dialogue, and she just wouldn't stop talking. But she gave me an hourglass as an early wedding gift. It seemed to warp reality and just flip like a 500-foot tall tower upside down. Fuck you, laws of physics, I guess. I also went to Volcano Manor and killed Godskin Noble. I went on to fight Rykard. I died. So I tried again. And I died. So I tried again. And I died. So I decided to get the Flame Drake Talisman level 2, which should help me against his attacks since it gives me fire resistance, basically. Which gave me a sense of false confidence to fight him. And I can't even pick up the spear in the arena that is designed to kill him, since it isn't a boss drop, it's a world item. So every single time I fucking die, I have to walk past the thing that could easily defeat him. So to blow off some steam, I killed Margot pretty easily, only used 3 crimson flasks, and after getting a whiff of his dirty little piggies, I rode a coffin up a waterfall. Yet again, fuck you, laws of physics. Then I decided to ride a coffin down a waterfall, switch it up a little bit, you know, and pick up a Ranni doll, which told me to kill basically Evil Blade. And yes, this isn't a boss, but I'm not using his runes or items for this run. I'm just killing him to get the ending. So literally this helps in no other way. I made sure to throw away the runes. Like I killed directly after that. So to the comments that are going, actually you didn't do the challenge. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I beat the game using only boss drops. Not can't kill anything other than bosses, but it's just easier to avoid since if I killed every single NPC, I'd just have to constantly throw away all my runes and it'd be impossible for me to level up. But I can understand if you invalidate the challenge. But in my opinion, I haven't. But after killing him and giving up all my runes, I then rode yet another coffin down a waterfall and woke up in Mr. Beast's dungeon. But we'll come back to this later, because right now I'm going to the mountaintops of the giants, killing the bosses along the way, and after getting to the fire giant, I broke his ankles and curb stomped him, finishing him off with a whack on the ass. Immediately after, I burned down the rainforest's biggest tree and jumped right into fighting the Godskin, which gave me PTSD since in my caveman only run, I spent multiple hours fighting these guys. Go watch that video, by the way. So I gave up for now and went to get an easy win by killing the real Moog, yet again destroying him in the process. I am the Moog Lester after all, which I did use a gold pickled foulfoot that Patches dropped, since he did drop a bell bearing, which is within the rules of the challenge, which brought me to level 120, allowing me to get Rykard to stage 2, but that didn't matter. I died to him so many more times. I unironically spent about 6 hours trying to kill Rykard, and I have 32 hours worth of footage, so I spent like a fifth of the game on Rykard. But I did kill the Godskin twin second try, which allowed me to get my Katana's level to max. Going back to Mr. Beast's dungeon, I killed Estelle, the weak one by the way, basically putting him down like a sick pet. Like, I destroyed him. Like, I completely obliterated him. After riding through the beautiful castle ruin, I proposed to the blue goth baddie with 4 arms, and she said yes. Well, she technically didn't say anything, which as we all know, means yes. But now that I had succeeded in obtaining my wife, I decided to defeat Malekith. This is probably what single-handedly destroyed my will to live, and forced me to upgrade my PC. Because I died to this guy so many times that my storage just, like, wouldn't let me edit it. So I got an M.2 drive specifically for editing softwares, so it wouldn't freeze anymore. So I literally had to upgrade my PC so I could make this video because this guy killed me so many times that my hard drive just couldn't edit the video. And if you're gonna say I shouldn't be editing on a hard drive, I'm too poor to afford anything else, man. I don't know what you want from me. But once I had died again and again and again, and you get the point, through sheer laziness to improve my equipment, because I didn't want to grind bosses for levels for another like hour, yuck. That's for maidenless hobos, not tarnished sigmas. Just wasting like 3 hours of my life, throwing it away as the endless and inevitable march of time continues to rot us all inside out. But after putting down Malekith and gaining enough runes to put me in an endgame build, I awoke on Epstein's Island, and to suit the location, I violated Gideon until he begged me to stop. And I just didn't, I kept going until he was defeated. Moving on to Godfrey, he didn't do too much better. I only died to him like a single time, and then I destroyed him whilst being underleveled in the process. But we're on to the final hurdle. I'm sure you're probably tired of watching me fight a boss since even I got a little bored of it by this point, and I was the one playing it. So I was having more fun than you guys watching it, and I don't know. So I'm just gonna show you my deaths. But more importantly, the final battle, except it's at 10x speed because it looks funny. Which answers my question of if I could beat the game only fighting bosses. But that doesn't matter! Should I tell you what does matter? I married a blue 4-armed goth smurf, which is very smurf-tastic. That very same smurf is now the god of this world, talking some light Yagami shit. And while the Age of Stars ending plays in the background, I'm gonna tell my favorite 97 people on this planet, or more if some of you have subscribed during this video, where I've been for the past 6 months. To keep it brief and not so sweet, my girlfriend of a couple of years broke up with me out of nowhere. Then 2 of my close family members ended up in the hospital for pretty life-threatening issues. Unrelated issues, by the way. So if there is a god, he must really hate my family, or me right now. They're both doing better, they're not in the hospital anymore, by the way. And other family members and friends have been going through a lot this year. This all happened within the past like 4 or 5 months or so, by the way, which all of it combined, the worry and the sadness caused me to have depression on top of all the other things people my age go through. You know, what am I doing with my life? What will I do with my life? Am I wasting it? Stuff like that. But I'm in a better headspace right now. I'm not 100%, but I'm better. I'm not saying this for sympathy, by the way. Don't feel bad for me. I'm great now. All right. Well, not great, but like I'm doing better. I just felt kind of bad for saying that I'd upload like every 2 weeks in my last video and then immediately not doing that and then not uploading anything for 6 whole months. But although I am 6 months late, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Here's a little star on your forehead for making it this far in the video. Here you go. And I'm gonna have to demand that you like and subscribe or else I'm gonna touch you. And I mean this with every shred of sanity that I have left. Thank you all for watching.